We going live.
What you say?
Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your host MB and Klew. What's going on, y'all? Look, we got
Hey,
MB trying. He on the road
hello?
again. He on the road again, trying to
Can y'all hear me?
definitely yes, we hear you. Get your communication right. Maybe just leave it
Huh?
blank, MB, and just talk. Yeah, don't worry about showing your face. We can hear you because we hear the beeping of the car. Um, I think that's the car, maybe. But we got our number one fan, man, and part-time co-host in the building. Double A is in the building. What's going on, Double A?
Oh, welcome back, Kay Lou. You've had a tough week of catching up on some sleep since last Monday.
I don't know if you can call it catching up on sleep. Um, I think it's the whatever the opposite of that is. It's the new norm in the Lewis household. We just brought in the building another little baby girl, Ava K. Lou. So of course y'all know where that K came from, baby.
Well, congratulations and enjoy it. It's nothing better than life. So,
Oh yeah, man. So now this is number 3 for me. I have a 11-year-old daughter, Callie, a 4-year-old son, Asher, Kevin, and Ava K now. So 2 KLs and 2 AKs.
and a lot of college plans.
Oh man. So yeah, man, lot of stuff been going on in sport.
Sure
Double
has.
A. Man, we got a lot of stuff going, but we're gonna kick it off with he's a problem. And right off at the gate, we can start off with Michael Porter Jr. Finally doing what I thought he should have been doing. And hey, he ain't got no choice now, Double A, because he down a Jamal Murray. He got an MVP in Joker playing alongside him, but he went 39, 2 assists, which ain't what he do. 6 boards and 3 blocks, which is outstanding. Because with that 6'10" frame, he needs to be more effective on the defensive side of the ball and hitting that 39. He can do that. That's who he really is, Double A. And I just see this.
Sometimes when you get, you lose a player and you gain more touches, and that might be the thing for him that worked that 2-man game. But you don't want to ever lose Ronald Murray, but that might be the reason for him to finally come out and do this on a consistent basis.
What a problem though, Double A is not. I hear what you're saying. Jamal Murray does a great job of getting the ball, moving the ball around, and obviously he's a scorer as well. But I think the problem for me is he's not assertive enough offensively. He
Right.
settles for that catch and shoot jump shot, that one dribble jump shot. He's not creating his own offense, and I think that's the problem.
Well,
But go ahead.
you got a playoff run coming, so now's the time to grow up and show that he can be assertive.
Absolutely. MB, can you hear us still? So
Yeah, I can
Double
hear
A,
you
you
right now. I couldn't hear y'all before.
okay, so you want to go in with the second he's a problem.
The second he's a problem is my favorite. Mr. Westbrook took it back to his old team with 37, 11, and 11.
There it
And
is.
if that ain't a message, I don't know what is.
Hey, that just remind me of old Prince, baby. 777 93 11. Golly, that what he doing, MB? Man,
You say what?
that remind me of old Prince.
Hello?
With them numbers 37 and 11 and 11.
He should go
I'm
hit the
just
lottery
reminded
with that.
of 777 93 11, baby. So go MB, you want to get the next he's a problem? Kyrie and Kevin. Kyrie and KD.
I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So go ahead, MB. Yeah, he's so Kyrie and KD both of them went bonkers with a victory over the second place Phoenix Suns. Kyrie went 34, 12, and 6, and KD went 33, 4, and 6 boards and a block. Again, my challenge to him since he developing is get them blocks up to 2 a game, man.
I thought it was interesting that they brought Durant off the bench and let him sort of feel his way through, figure out where they need him and where they don't. I think that might be a good move for them going forward.
You got to break that down a little bit better than that, double A. Like, I don't understand that at all. Are you trying to tell me that you believe he's going to be coming off the bench? Is that what I'm hearing? So explain.
When you get Harden back and with Kyrie, let them each fill out. They got to find their spots and their shots. It gave him a chance to see the flow of the game and where he needed to assert himself. That might be better for him long term with his health and his body and his frame and everything.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I like that because you're basically saying, hey, don't start out with him as if he's going to go, 44 minutes, 40 minutes. Like, pick his spots, and maybe you are right.
He did that in 28 minutes, I think, is what I read when I read the box score.
And that's honestly, I think, where he should be. He's not built. Listen, here's the crazy part about those two guys, KD and Kyrie. They've never finished the season.
Yeah.
A full
fragile.
season. Yeah.
Fragile.
So you got a point there if you're looking at it like that. I just think egos won't allow that, no, double A. I'm sorry to tell you that. Egos are not going to allow him to not be a starter because then it's no longer his team, although it needs to be James Harden's team anyway.
Right. We know it's Harden's team to begin with, and with 11 games to go in the regular season, somebody's going to have to figure this out if they're going to make a run at this, because if not, this experiment's over.
Well, you're trying to say we don't. We know. I don't think they know that, no, double A. Go ahead with the next he's a problem.
And that next he's a problem is Mr. Curry, who went off and took broke Harden's 3-point record for the whole month, and I think he had 37, 4, and 7 the other night with the most 3-pointers in a month. He 85 and counting, and we still got some days to go in this month. And he's been on fire. He found the fountain of youth, and we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. He's been a problem for the whole month.
Come on, man. Let's call it what it is. He finally gets an opportunity to do what everybody calls James Harden and being a ball hog. Why are we talking about the ball movement of the Steve Kerr Golden State Warriors now? Why we ain't saying everybody need to play like them? I got a friend of mine that we always go head to head because I'm a James Harden fan. And he's always bad mouthing him. They can't win like that. I'm like, that's the only way they can win.
Yeah.
And I told him, given the same situation, Steph Curry couldn't produce the wins and the results that James Harden did in Houston. He has this opportunity. And look, I said, unless he does exactly what James Harden does.
He's doing it.
Exactly. And that's the only reason why they're starting to rise up a little bit, because they're at the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. With him still trying to play like Steve Kerr wants them to play. But you can't do that when you don't have the Jimmys and the Joes, y'all. That mess don't work when you ain't passing it to like-minded guys and guys with those types of abilities. Y'all had the best shooting team in the NBA, and now y'all had a whole NBA trying to play like y'all. That was the funniest thing. Like,
he's pulling up when he crosses half court. It's game on for him. It's like he's not waiting on no triangle offense to get him in the flow.
Right. And that's what you do. So all you James Harden haters hate on Steph right now. That's what I want to hear. Because the attempts look mighty close. The only difference is James Harden's still dropping 10 dimes. Still. Yeah. Get your weight up, Steph. I need need all that.
Or grow some beer.
Hey, I need all that, and I need 10 dimes, 9 dimes, 11 dimes, 15 dimes. That's what James Harden was doing. While he was ball hogging, he was still leading the league or top 5 in assists while he was ball hogging.
If he comes back, you got 3 assassins on that Nets team with all those other guys around him that have been filling in all year long. There's no telling what they can do. It's just the question is it's if they can stay healthy through this playoff with taking a pounding.
Come on now, don't say that. Say question. The question is, since they are already there, do they have enough for the late show, baby? That's the real question. and I can answer that for y'all, but I think y'all already know what else I'm gonna give. Just ask the Miami Heat, do they have enough for the late show, baby? That's what y'all do. So
we pounded them.
Double A moving right along. The MMA was played, baby. Well, not played, but fought. UFC had another match. Usman put a stamp on his rivalry with Masvidal on Saturday night, dropping him with a crushing right hand, following up on the ground for a knockout victory at 1 minute and 2 seconds. Man,
don't get your popcorn.
Yeah. Somebody get your popcorn ready. You ain't got that kind of time, man.
That's like Michael Spink's time.
Oh, don't do my dog like that. Hey, I know his people. I grew up with Michael Spink's people. He had a few people around here in Orlando area, man. And they were bragging on him till that night.
till that night. You turn your whoop, that's over.
Did he catch him with a piece of ham?
I don't know. I was watching the Andre Giant documentary the other night. I don't know between UFC, what's left of the boxing world and all these worlds now. What's what and what's not anymore. It's to me, it's all a clown show at this point. That's who's clowning is the whole fight game.
Hey, you know what? Of course, that's at the bottom of the show. We'll discuss that if we make it that far.
Yeah,
the other he's a problem, man. Listen. If you watch football at all, if you pay attention to football, this might be the funnest guy in the entire league. Okay. Rob Gronkowski, baby. Listen, I just say he knows how to have fun. He knows how to have a great time. Him and Teddy Bruschi were honorary coaches at the Arizona spring football game. And right before the game, Gronk say, hey, man, let me get in these record books, baby. I'm already in a few record books in the NFL. Let me get in this Guinness record book, baby. So he had a helicopter fly over, and they dropped the football, threw a pass from 600 yards, okay? And he caught it. He caught it. Caught that thing.
That's higher than Reggie. That's higher than a Reggie Roby punt. That's only in Tucson you get some clear blue skies. You can see that ball, but that's still
that took us back, baby.
Yeah.
That was the original BP LB. Yeah. The original Black Panther. Reggie Roby, baby, used to throw passes with it. Kick that thing so high, come down like they done threw a bomb.
Randall Cunningham punted too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Randall did, and then Reggie had a little Timex watch. He always had wear a watch, on his hand.
LB, and was his legs really that big, or it just looked like that on TV?
Nah, he was a big dude, man.
Okay.
He was a big dude. He was a big dude.
Hey, Earl Campbell,
the
like
Rain
in
Man,
the leg
man, punch a hole in the sky.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, look, y'all.
Did he have that Unibar face mask or something?
Yes.
He had I can't remember
a single, baby.
A single, yeah.
Hey, LB.
He let you know right now, if you return a punt, he ain't block, he ain't trying to make no tackle.
Exactly. Towards the end of your career, you start thinking, man, I should have punted a kick. You sure start thinking about it. What golly, what this is for him? Year 16? Boy, I should have been kicking.
Yeah,
Hey, and running away from people when they get too close, huh, MB?
yeah, yeah. Don't be like that punter that Sean Teller blew up
Oh man,
in the Pro
listen,
Bowl.
I
He
said
killed that punter.
you heard what I said, and running away from people. Hey, he had hit me in the back, MB, because I'd have been running the other way. Look, NFL begins on Thursday, man. The first round, man. Double A. Who you like, man? Put your Mel Kiper on, man.
I'm no Mel Kiper, but I spent the weekend on my treadmill watching all these old recaps of the draft. 83 class, Elway to Marino. 84 with Irvin Fryer. 85 was Jerry Rice and Eddie Brown. And looking in hindsight, from everything when we were talking to Ray Farmer, this guy Pitts from the Gators, he's the sure thing. That's the guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame in 10 years if he's everything they're saying he is.
Okay, so why didn't anybody have the guts, MB, to pull the trigger? If y'all telling me it's without a shadow of a doubt,
Right.
this the best dude, in the draft, why you don't pull the trigger? Why are we having the Trevor Lawrence automatic conversation?
Oh, well, you know how quarterbacks, man, quarterback trumps all that. If you need a quarterback, bro, you're trying to build your franchise, then that take the best available player, get thrown out the window. It's now like, man, I need a quarterback, a signal caller. I got to get this thing done. So the teams that need a quarterback, you say quarterback or tight end, I mean, shoot, 9 out of 10 times you're gonna take that quarterback every time if you believe in him like that. That he could be the face of your franchise. So that's why
So
I'm
it don't
curious to
take
see
it doesn't
what
take it doesn't take you being a game changer, you saying. It just takes you being a guy that can, possibly lead your franchise for the next 5+ years.
Well, no, I think if you have been in the quarterback spot, I think you automatically, in that regards, you're considering like, okay, this guy could be a game changer. He could be an important piece of puzzle.
Okay.
It's just like playing chess. The two most important people is you got to protect the king and you got the queen. And so you understand that. So building a team, I guess, right? If you got a quarterback that you feel like can get you over the top and get you there, then if you're going to take him regardless, trying to take the best player. Majority of the time, 9 or 10 times, they're going to take that. So I guess that's the thing. Because San Francisco, right, which is unusual for me to see. I mean, they gave up so much draft capital to trade up. Usually, you see that type of trade during the draft, not before the draft. And they made
Right.
no qualms about it. Like, look, we're taking a quarterback. And obviously, with them, they can say that because they got a Pro Bowl tight end. But you don't see too many moves made like that for a tight end just because of the effect that you have. You got to have somebody throw that ball to him, man.
But how nasty would that be to put him on the other side of that Pro Bowl tight end and have two of them for Garoppolo? If they're playing for today, that's what you do.
No
You don't
doubt.
take the quarterback for the future. It's the same with Atlanta. Give Matt Ryan a weapon if he falls to 5, or are they drafting a quarterback, Atlanta? Because we know what Klew thinks of Matty Ice.
Been telling y'all this for years.
Well, that's curious. That's curious what I want to see. I want to see what Atlanta does. Like, because Atlanta lost a tight end the year before to Cleveland. And so I wonder if they're going to draft this guy Pitts, right? I'm curious to see what they do. Or are they going to do a Green Bay and say, let me get a quarterback of the future? So I'm curious to see what they do, with that, because obviously they got a new general manager that came from New Orleans. They got a new head coach. So I'm curious to see right what they end up doing in that pick, or there's rumors they may trade out of the 4th pick because somebody want to get up and get a quarterback. So I'm curious to see what happened with that pick, because you talk about Pitts in that type of offense with Julio and Calvin Ridley, stuff like that. That could be a really explosive offense. So I'm curious to see, because the general manager came from New Orleans. And I don't know if he was there when New Orleans drafted Jimmy Graham, but just the fact of being at New Orleans, understand how powerful that offense, how you can have that offense, and having a guy like that in it, definitely, will be a game changer. So I'm curious to see what Atlanta does.
Well, I'm confused right now, guys. Like, are we saying there's really 4, 5 game changing, or team changing, franchise changing quarterbacks in this draft? Because this seems to be really loaded up to be a quarterback heavy draft. Are we really? Is this really a Dan Marino, John Elway draft? Because I mean, Double A talked about it earlier, just taking us back to that, bro. If you look at this draft, they're not bragging on them in the same way, but that's what we're getting to.
You're talking 5, 6 quarterbacks at least in the first round.
That's crazy.
And that's what I'm saying.
Are you a believer?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had the luxury to take all these cats to the lab, but like I said, you just see because of the nature of the game. If you get something close, as far as if you think something close, that guy can be a game changer. I mean, the quarterback position, quote unquote, as far as building a team, is one of the most important pieces on a puzzle. Just like I say, just playing chess. So if they think anybody got potential like that, I mean, they're gonna look at it, grab it, because you look at it. I mean, you look at what Zach Wilson. I mean, you look at the starts of these dudes. You look at the production. It's not a lot to hang your hat on. So and look at history, like Trubisky, right? He 1 year. You look at Dwayne Haskett. He had 1 year. So you look at it. There's a lot of teams are willing to take that gamble, like what Ray was on last week, and he was kind of walking us through the whole process. And he brought up a good point. He said a lot of times, they take that gamble, but then they rush him out of there, rush him on the field, as opposed to he brought something up about being able to let them sit for a year, get redshirted, and then ease them into it. But obviously, with the quarterback, like I said, a lot of people believe that's the building piece around it, that you got to have that piece. So anytime you get close to that, people are going to take a chance.
It's interesting you talk about that, because MB, first of all, I'm one of those ones that don't believe in rushing a quarterback out there. I just think the history continuously shows us the guys who sit bowl well. I mean, one of the best quarterbacks, if not, you can argue this point, but heck, 1A, 1B, Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes. However y'all shake it out, the best 2 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, both sat. And so you remember, MB, that was my problem in Miami. I said they shouldn't play. I think it's an advantage to sit in these quarterbacks. I do think they're ruining their careers, but in today's world, they want it right now. They want to put it in. You say the kids are microwave society, MB. Look where they're getting it from. They're getting it from the NFL, because they putting these guys in the microwave and saying, we can't wait. Our job's on the line. We can't wait and let you relax and sit behind someone for a year. We need you out there right now. So go out there and get it done. They're killing them, Double A.
How many of these GMs and these head coaches have the job security to be able to sit on somebody for a year and let them sit? That's why I'm looking at San Fran with Garoppolo. And it's like, if you give him a serviceable offensive line, he can produce if you can keep him up on his feet. Right. Go give him another weapon.
Right. Or bring the guy in and let him sit still.
Right.
That's my issue with.
Which is what
we act as if. Go ahead, MB.
No. I'm saying, and that's based on all indication. That's what San Fran is planning on doing, is drafting the quarterback, let Jimmy finish it, play the year out, and just see how it goes from there. So yeah, definitely. So that's what I'm saying. It seems like they right now. That's what they're saying their game plan is.
Mm-hmm. I think Belichick's got that game plan. He's got Cam for another year, and if he goes and gets one of these young guys, if he thinks that one of them are worthy of a first-round pick, he's going to go sit on somebody. You know that.
Yeah. I think it's a smart move, and I also think, for me, what's huge for me, the best move of the draft already been made to me, and that's Kansas City giving up their first round to go get a tackle, something that they struggled with and a guy that we know is already a Pro Bowl player. Them the kind of moves that I think are outstanding and turn you into champions overnight when you go do stuff like that. While we're sitting here debating on if Justin Fields should be dropping, will Trevor Lawrence be the guy they think he will? Will Zach Wilson ever play a snap in the NFL, and at what kind of what level he's gonna play it at? We like guessing and trying to figure out off of college film. But we got a guy here in Orlando Brown. You already know the animal. Okay, you already know go get it done, and that's I'm a for sure guy. LB will tell you I like to cheat. You know what I mean? And cheating to me is you already know what you're gonna get out of this guy. I'm gonna give y'all these picks. I'm gonna go get this guy.
You can't even look at game film from last year. You can only go back to 2019. You can't base anything on what you saw last year. It wasn't a real year. These guys were in another world. You can't count that year against them. I think.
LB, you got anything?
Well, Trump, man, you step on that field, they counted. Yeah, you step on that field, they count everything. You look at the quarterback. And then one thing I always say, like, you hurt. Because when you watch that film, you turn that film, it's no bottom line. So this guy was hurt. This guy was hurt. When we look at that game film, I mean, what you put on tape, that's what you are. Because you look at it, because the one quarterback only played one game, Trey Lance, and he didn't play a good game. You know, he had so some guys are saying that. I remember my man Sean Taylor. You know, I think his junior year didn't have a good year, hurt his shoulder. And I remember talking to a guy that I knew that was at the Redskins, and was asking about it. He's like, man, I had to go look at the year before, like you saying, Double A, to get a glimpse of what he could do. And it's like, wow, it was unreal, you know. But you're right though. You have to look at all the films, and you got to look at the situation and see if it lines up and stuff like that, you know.
So MB, you are a resident NFL rules guy. We gonna jump right into it. NFL rule changes, and your boy Tom Brady was outspoken with it. It has a lot to do with replay, MB. So go ahead and explain it to us, and then I guess me and Double A can give our thoughts on it.
Well, I mean, so right now I ain't no residential rule guy, but I got you. Right now they made, I think the owners got together. And they came up initially right now, initial meetings that they're gonna make 3 changes right now. So the one change, what you're talking about, is the replay. And basically, it wasn't a change that most head coaches want. It was trying to get a guy that's designated that can have authority to make the calls, or a replay booth guy that's just an extra guy on the field. So they didn't get that done. But what they did was they already have a replay guy. And so now they gave him other plays where he can, like, if he sees something, whether it's a catch or something like that, he could be more involved. Well, unofficially, he's been more involved as well, but now it's just going to make it official. It's not more hands-on the way they want, but it is something heading in the right direction. The biggest change, and then other changes, offsides, right? I think since they went to this new kicking rule where you can't get a running start or whatnot, the offsides, I think they only had like 3 successful onside kicks, right?
Right.
And so one of the changes they made, the kickoff return team now, instead of having 11 guys within 25 yards of the ball, now they can only have 9. So they're making a tweak. So that was a 1-year change to see if that makes a difference, because other than what we saw last year with the Atlanta Falcons and the Dallas Cowboys, right? That onside kick, how they was watching it,
right,
as opposed to standing go and get it. Hopefully now, that little adjustment, they're thinking that'll make a big difference. So who knows? They're trying that. But I think the biggest rule change based on Tom Brady is now we having like a college atmosphere in this regards, where it's basically the skill position on offense and defense can have a number between 1 and I think 49, and so now you can have. So Tom was like, man, that's the dumbest rule we ever seen. It affects protection, this and that, blah blah blah. And so he was so Tom was like, man, basically, I started looking at it, you can't teach the old dog new treat. He don't want that to be changed. Keep it the same. Don't move that. But to me, it's the same. It's worse in college because you got
Exactly,
defensive linemen
LB.
can have
That's what I was
single-digit.
about to say.
So yeah, but to me, it makes a difference. Trust me. If Aaron Donald, if he could take advantage of the rule and he have on 0, you gotta know who Aaron Donald is. I don't care what he have on.
Right,
You gotta know who the War
right,
Dogs. You gotta know how to set protection. You gotta know what to do. So I don't know, Tom. Like I said, that's one of the things he don't want to. He don't. At this stage, he don't want no change. I guess that's my assumption. But that's the thing, and the reason why that came about because they increased practice squad, and because of the COVID, right? They had issues now with skilled positions trying to get them numbers, so eligible numbers within those criterias that they could play. So that was the issue. So it's not like college where you could double up on a number in the NFL, right?
right,
So that's that was the main reason why they did it, because during COVID you got guys out, you got to bring a guy up on practice squad because it had that rule where you could bring a guy up on practice squad and you don't have to keep him up. You could bring him up just from the game because your numbers are low. But now you got to put him in a jersey and he's in skill position, so you've been handcuffed based on the numbers. So I think that was the biggest component per se why they wanted to do it. And then now for guys who's Derrick Henry, the guy who wore number 2 in college. Now for
right,
guys like that who may want to go back to the number, in the NFL, boy, they
right.
like Ike, they like Ike and Tina Turner, man. They like, hey, if you want to switch number, then you got to buy all the inventory that's in there. I was like, what in the world? That's crazy. So they make it
I think
I
Brady's
doubt if you see very few guys changing it.
They really said that, MB. You got to buy your own inventory if you want to switch.
They double.
I think
Yes.
it's more a
If
business
you want
thing.
to
I think
switch, you got to buy
yeah.
your own inventory.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
T,
Double
T,
A.
Yeah.
what's Brady's company's name? TB12. You don't want any other 12s out there.
Well, it's just crazy. Obviously, the first 2 rule changes, uh, the onside kick, they're trying to give people a chance. So I agree with that. The replay doesn't really seem like much changed. I guess he gets an idea on a different, he gets to call some other plays. I guess if he sees something wrong, uh, okay. I don't know what'll come out of that. But what I do love is his number change. Listen, defensively, I can't speak from Tom Brady's perspective. I'm not an offensive guy, but defensively, we play spots and locations. The number really don't, you know, factor in unless it's old linemen out there, who are ineligible and they, spread them out and stuff like that. That's the only time, and correct me if I'm wrong, MB, that's the only time really that number thing came into play. So defensively, it's not going to matter. I think he's complaining about having a number 1 playing Mike. Well, shoot, in college they have a number 1 playing Mike and another one playing slot on the same team. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. It's just crazy. Like I don't know. Like you said, it's hard to teach the old dog new tricks. Get over it, because that Mike's still gonna be in the Mike location. Like it just is. I don't care if he got on 99, he still, got on 1,000. Because I just thought about Big Kurt, MB. It was a 99 at Mike. So, but if he got on a number 1,000, he in that Mike area, that Mike location. Heck, think about it. Safeties come into the box, and MB, we done been in different defenses where the safety come into the box and they calling him 20, 25 Mike. We done heard that. So that, I mean, come on, y'all playing locations too. Y'all, you're not necessarily tagging us because of a jersey number.
I think
MB,
it'd be funny seeing an offensive lineman with all single digits.
I don't know about
I can
that.
hear.
Double A. I think that one can't happen. I think that's a rule.
So yeah,
If we talked about the rule, yeah, you can't have an old lineman play with number 1.
no, I can't. I think I think O linemen are in the 50s and the
Right.
60s and 70s, I
Still the
believe,
same.
and
Yeah,
then
still the
D
same.
linemen are in the 50s. I forgot the rule, but no, they can have single digits. It's just a skill position that can have
Right.
Right.
single digits, skill positions that, but O line, D line, you can't have a single digits. You know, I think based on the rule, I think it was in the 50s, like I was saying, definitely. It stayed the same pretty much, if I'm baby. But
But
Caleb,
I
I can
will.
hear your question. What you was asking me?
No, I was just saying that I didn't play offense, but I can't see what the difference is gonna be. Why is he complaining? Because there's different defense where the safety done came down in the box and they calling him the Mike right next to me. So they're playing location too. They're not playing jersey numbers, is what I was saying. Did you hear me? I guess not. All
He's
right.
thinking about
Hey,
it.
listen. NCAA still
Yeah,
having
and
issues.
try heading to a game. Yeah, I heard you. The preparation. Trust me, man. You're. No, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we hear you
Can y'all
now.
hear me?
Now we can.
Yes.
I'm delayed. Then.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm at this thing outside. But yeah. So no, I said trust me, and the preparation that goes into a game. Trust me, you don't have a scouting report on the numbers don't mean anything. You know,
Right.
you know whoever wear that number, you're gonna know all about that person, whether he's a D lineman or a linebacker. You're gonna know his strength, you and the weakness. So I don't. You're right. I don't understand. I gotta dig a little bit more. You know, with Tom Brady, what his hesitation because to me it's worse,
Right.
worse than that, and
Right.
then doesn't, So I don't issue.
Right. Yeah. And like I was saying earlier, defensively, we're not ever really playing jersey numbers anyway. We're more so playing locations. And that determines more who you
Yeah,
are than what your jersey number is.
I just think you don't want to see a middle linebacker wearing number 12, so it could be MB12.
Ah, hey man, these dudes gonna be fighting about them single digit numbers. I can tell
Right.
you that right now. It's gonna be bidding wars for them single digits, boy. Because everybody coming in the building gonna want them singles. Can you? And it'll be just dropped off. But can you imagine Jay Boogie? Jay Boogie will been number one. That's just what happened.
Well, would Jesse have ever wore number 98? He would have been one.
He'd have been number one.
He was
That's what
number
I'm
one
saying.
as a
What?
freshman.
What? That's what time it is, man. These guys love them single digits. I've never really understood it, double A, but
Dion
boy,
would still been two.
right? Oh yeah, none of it would have
Yeah.
changed. None of it would have changed. They would have said that party. I'm gonna keep this party going. So NCAA, man, LSU still like they continue to have damage control as the university continues to distance themselves from anyone or anything Les Miles, except for that natty trophy. Darius Geis has been banned from the program, double A.
They got rid of
And
the law firm.
and this right, but this was the running back that was your guy, back in the day. And all of a sudden, they don't want anything to do with him. Nothing. They Chris Webber in him. And so, I don't know how long because it seems like Michigan said indefinitely, and then aren't they trying to reinstate him? I think now.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to work towards that. And then, but
Well,
this guy had
they brought Jawan back to be the coach. I mean,
right.
you know.
Well, yeah, that was a way too. But if you look at what even with it kind of made me upset. Them get obviously what Darius Grice is accused of is egregious. Number one. But it made me upset that we haven't heard anything about Les Miles and his uh, uh, transgressions seem to even be worse than Darius Guys. Hello. I'm really I, I'm really puzzled by that. Double A, you got to talk to me and tell me why they didn't immediately ban Les Miles, but all of a sudden out of nowhere we're hearing about Darius Guys. Out of nowhere we're hearing about the law firm, but they had an AD that did his own investigation and tried to get rid of Les Miles while this was occurring.
We know how internal investigations go in this country.
Hold on. No, but Joe Oliva got it right and tried to fire him, and the big wigs and the president said no, he ain't going nowhere. So he actually got it right. He didn't even need that real internal investigation where the law firm gets involved and all that. He's like, what? Oh, y'all? Hey, get him out of here. And they're like, no, he stays. Like, what do you do about that?
Because the head coach of an SEC school is God. You know, the AD don't mean being of anything. So, you know, right. who gets the contract, who gets the salary, who gets the exposure, you know, it's the head coach. He was responsible. But, you know, that guy's Les Miles got to go down with his shit, man. No matter what his players did, it's on his watch.
And here's the deal, though. When should the LSU faithful look in the mirror and call themselves out for this foolishness and flat out phoniness of the university? Like, you got to get rid of everybody who was even on, you know, who was associated with the athletic department during that time. And you gotta force them to start off on a clean slate.
You ever listen to those Louisiana senators in D.C. when they get up there to talk? That's what you're dealing with. They don't think they've done anything wrong. They're just, you know.
Man, listen, they did a lot wrong because there was an absolute problem going on and a culture that made that problem comfortable, and that's, you know, violence against women, and it festered, and people tried to stop it. Joe Oliva tried to stop it. The lady, one of the other assistant ADs, a female who's suing them now for $50 million, tried to stop it, and they all but got her fired. They lied on her, false reports on her, and everything. So there were some good people involved in there trying to make this thing right, but they completely were ignored. Double A.
Yeah, you're coming up against, you know, the old boys club back in these SEC schools back in a southern state like that. There's, you know, it's just a symbol and a mirror as to what's going on a bigger scope in this country right now. So, you know, there are good people everywhere. That ain't the question. But when the business is more important than the student athlete, you know, it's priorities, and people lose sight of it.
Well, here we're gonna move right along to NBA, and LeBron onslaught continues as the dribble crowd gets louder and louder and louder. And listen, let me be the first to let y'all know I'm a Laker. Y'all know that. And I call it how I see it. LeBron was absolutely wrong for the tweet. Let me tell you why. Because he jumped and didn't read, or probably just watched it on mute. But I like to read the articles first. I don't even watch the stuff. As a matter of fact, I still haven't seen the video of what he was discussing. But I read the article immediately, Double A, and immediately what LeBron didn't realize is that was a warranted shooting. And as a matter of fact, watch this. As a matter of fact, a bystander with a concealed weapons permit could have made the same shot and still been, and didn't have anything to do, at least in the state of Florida, and wouldn't have to have anything to do with law enforcement, could have made the same shot. And
right now, I mean, it's with as hot as the temperature is in this country, and especially with the timing of that and when it went on. it takes so much discipline, especially when you have a platform like LeBron. To just you gotta know what you're talking about, and you're seeing 1 second and one glimpse of something that you just hold back. It can wait. No one needs to know your response. It's like verbal diarrhea, you know.
But this is where me and MB clashed a little bit because he was feeling like athletes should be more involved, and I said they should when they know what they're talking about.
When
You know what
informed,
I mean?
when informed,
Because
they should be leading the front. But if you're not informed, nobody was. Nobody know. I mean, that's the one thing I did do was watch the video, and I'm like, I can't make sense of what I'm watching here to even be able to comment on it, to know what, because you're seeing just one clip of it. You don't know what happened the 5 minutes before that led up to that, and you're seeing a slice of what someone wanted you to see. You
right,
know,
and I think we're all taken aback because it was young adults. It was not even young adults. It was kids, so they're not even 18 that were involved in this brutal situation. However, when you roll up on a scene or you get, you jump out, you ain't asking people how old are they, or it doesn't matter if you're yielding a knife. Like, it just doesn't matter. So I think we're all saddened by, who the actors were, in this. And like I always say, man, was disappointing to me is, when you read deeper and understand that this girl had been getting bullied and picked on and all that kind of stuff, and that adults could have got involved, it shouldn't even make it to the cops, man. That's my issue of it. Being a parent, like, when do you say, hey, enough is enough, leave that little girl alone, or we need to go to whoever, because she was a foster kid. We need to go to our foster parents if she's causing the problems, or if it's from my child, then I'm going to handle my situation. But to always let it get to that, is disturbing to me. Meaning, like, I don't think there was ever a place for a police officer in that, because, again, we talk about families, we talk about families creating communities. Because we're not families, and because we're not creating communities anymore, we just call them that. But you don't even know who your neighbor is. You don't even know who the person two houses down from you. So there's no more communities. They're just people. There is, them as much as a guy that or people you're commenting about on a story through the internet or through Instagram or something. That your neighbors just that much. So it's not a community anymore.
The technology, the way of the world, not only do you not know your neighbor, you don't know your friends anymore. And and you're seeing that in this past year with the polarization of what the technology has done. So,
right.
to expect that these police officers, you really got to turn them into community officers, where it used to be, the local cop on the beat, and, he was part of the PAL and worked
Absolutely.
after hours and all that. That's not the way of the world anymore. You've got guys that are one, they're sleep deprived to begin with. They're overworked, and then they're thrown into a dynamite box trying to deal with mental health problems, let alone mental health problems with families that have been quarantined and locked up for the last year. This is just a recipe for disaster across this country right now.
Right.
And there is no right or wrong way to deal with it. It's just, we can't keep doing the same. If someone doesn't start to temper this stuff down and get the misinformation handled, and start getting people to start talking to each other cordially. I mean, I saw a fight break out in the Miami International Airport the other day that was just insane, because it went on. There were no police there to even break it up.
Well, nowadays it's not important. Right and wrong are out of the window, and I just refuse to join that crowd. It's my side and your side, double A. And I just refuse to be a part of that. Like, it's still gonna be right and wrong for me and to me. Like, that's what I'm gonna base decisions off of, not this. Hey, I'm with this group, so I gotta agree with them. You know what I mean? And like I said, y'all know I'm a Laker. I'm a LeBron fan. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. It just at the end of the day, him making that comment is wrong. Whether I need him to help us win the NBA title or not, Like I'm still a fan. But him
LeBron's
being wrong
human.
is wrong.
LeBron's human. He ain't perfect, and he doesn't know it all. His mistake was being quick to react, and
Right.
that with
Well,
it with the power of this technology, and without there being a filter anymore, you got to be cognizant of the responsibilities that you have. That if you have millions of viewers and millions of followers, that's gonna either pour kerosene on the fire, or you got to learn how to be able to temper it down. That's what the role is. That's what Bill Russell and Kareem and Jim Brown did back in those days. They knew when to settle things down and when to raise it up. And
but
technology doesn't allow for that anymore.
well, and they were calculated. They were knowledgeable. They were, guess what? They were part of the movement. They weren't just, kind of fly by night guys, which a lot of times athletes are using their platform to do.
Yep.
So they're not coming from an educational background, meaning like, hey, go get educated on this before you start talking about it. Because what happens when you're questioned? You know what I'm saying? What comes after this great tweet or quote that I get to put out here? When I'm questioned on that, now what do I say?
It's the
You know what I'm saying?
dopamine hit of getting the response and seeing how did that just get retweeted by a million people. It's the technology's controlling us. The books, the Fahrenheit 451s, they've taught us this stuff, that we've let the technology overtake us, that we're looking for those notifications on our phones all day long.
Man,
See
who
what the
likes
next
me?
story is going to break.
Double A, you better like all my stories. We ain't friends no more if you don't press like.
It's biological at this point that we are controlled by this technology.
well, look, our final story, man, is listen. I'm gonna be straight up with you, Double A, and tell you what you already know. Boxing is finished, man. Jake Paul. I found an article that said Jake Paul is the greatest prospect in boxing history. That's what I listen, man. Listen, man. And this dude is making a name for himself, fighting dudes, boxing dudes that don't box.
I saw
And
the
he's
I
the
saw the rec.
greatest prospect in boxing history. What?
That article that you sent me, the guys he was fighting had like 1-23 records, 2-35. I mean, these guys. Nate Robinson's not a boxer; that was a basketball player.
But bro, guess what? He's a YouTube. You just talked about it. He's a YouTube sensation. So his pay-per-view numbers are out of control. It's killing reputable boxers. If he would tell you, I actually was have it, it's so funny, and this article came out at the right time because I've been wanting to talk about boxing and how it's in the cellar when you got Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson at 50 years old coming out of retirement and getting more pay-per-view buys than guys that's doing this for real.
Well, go back to the start of the internet when Kimbo Slice came back. Came out. He was a YouTube sensation because he was really a backyard fighter. That guy was a real fighter. Right. So the views were warranted. Now, my daughter brings me some. Well, this is my YouTuber showed me. I'm like, you don't have any ability to judge who's real or not anymore. That's what 20 years of all this content being built up. It's just based on numbers now. There is no quality control to this world.
Hey, shout out to Papa Eddie. I'm gonna definitely tell my dad what's going on. What's going on? How you doing, Papa Eddie? But listen, man, boxing is crazy. Listen, Evander saw how much money was generated by Tyson and Roy. Evander said, "Hey, man, call Tyson. I want some of that too." And they went in negotiations, but it broke. I think 2 weeks ago it broke. Negotiations broke down. And so that fight's not going to happen, at least anytime soon. But think about this, man. I'm telling you, Lennox Lewis finna call these jokers. Look, man, don't leave me out in the cold. Hey, all I got to do is y'all fly two of y'all over here. We'll make this happen over here across the pond, baby. I'm telling you, everybody about to get involved because, man, it's just terrible. Jake I'm gonna repeat that. Jake Paul is the greatest prospect in boxing history, man. Like
I
I
thought he was
still
the kid
ain't
from
seen him
Saved by
box
the Bell when I
nobody
saw him.
real. What'd you say, Double A?
When you sent me that article, I'm like, who is this kid? It looks like the kid from Saved by the Bell. I'm like,
Hey, look, man. Jake, Jake Paul getting him the business, and now the UFC MMA guys are pissed off because he beat one of their greats, and they were like, "But this dude never was a boxer. You know, he's a grappler. He was a ground and pound type of guy. But shoot, Jake Paul's smart, man. He picking them off. He like, look, hey, he looking at their videos first, seeing if they can box or not. And if your boxing game is trash, he pegging you. Okay, you next. And so these UFC guys want a piece of him now, but he ain't gonna fight them. He not in it to lose. He gonna keep earning this check and
the,
beating up guys who don't belong in the ring.
the last fight my father ever went to was Ali Liston 2, the Phantom Punch, and he was
Okay.
sitting ringside. Said never went to another fight ever again.
Oh, come on.
He saw it. He's like, there's no punch. He's like, he was there. It was right in front of his face. He's like, that's it.
Pause. The story on that, the mob was involved, man. They told Sonny to take a dive or he was gonna die. That what the word is.
You're at least supposed to get hit.
Listen, take a dive or you gonna be. It's gonna be a dive after this fight. So listen. I made an. They would have been talking to us in the middle of the ring. You know how they, telling you the rules, and I might have failed in. After they would have gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. Double A, I'd have failed it when we was talking. Oh, he blew on me. Oh.
I haven't seen a good fight since Hearns Hagler. Those the fights in the '80s, and then watching Mike come up on the run he was before Buster Douglas. I can't remember the last time I saw. I mean, the Pacquiao fights were good, the early ones, the Roy Jones stuff, but after a while, it just became, I can't watch this anymore.
Well, I definitely believe boxing is over with, man. Yeah. Y'all trying to make me watch Jake Paul. I'm not doing it. Hey, I'm not doing it. I can't do it, Double A.
I don't take my advice from YouTube. I'll put it to you that way.
Well, man, we appreciate y'all coming through, rolling up, hollering at us because you know us. Thanks again, Double A, for coming in and standing the gap for MB. And MB's off to a function for the babies. You know he's a dad first, y'all. So he's out there supporting his kids, and we send our blessings to MB. Double A, again, thanks for filling in with us. You always welcome, and we're glad to always have you because you bring you definitely bring a different perspective. So from sideline to baseline with MB and Klew and Double A in the building, we are gone.
Peace.